Somewhere beyond the edge of waking, past the last blink of a tired eye and the final sigh of a sleepy yawn, there lies a world that is never awake and never truly asleep. This place is called the Kingdom of Night Whispers. It is not loud or bright or hurried. It is soft. It is still. It is filled with the quiet hum of sleepy thoughts and the glow of stars that don't burn, but breathe. In this world, the trees sway with lullabies, the rivers sing with gentle voices, and the clouds drift slow enough for dreams to climb aboard. And beneath one of those softly swaying trees, curled in a warm patch of moonlight, lived a little fox named Luna. Luna was no ordinary fox. She didn't chase or bark or bounce like the others her age. Instead, she liked to listen. Every night, when the forest turned blue and silver and the stars rose like tiny dreams above the treetops, Luna would lie down quietly on her favorite mossy rock, tilt her ears toward the sky, and just listen. To what? To the stars. Because the stars, you see, had voices, but only if you listened very carefully. They didn't shout. They didn't sing loudly. They whispered. And Luna, small and curious and full of quiet wonder, had learned to understand them. Tonight will be soft, one would say. The moon is wearing her blanket. Another would giggle. Tell the owls to blink slower. Came another sleepy voice from far away. Luna would nod, even if the stars couldn't see her. She liked their company. And most of all, she liked how they made her feel. Safe. Still. Sleepy. One evening, as Luna was curling her tail around herself to begin her usual listening, a new sound fluttered through the leaves. It was softer than a breeze, softer than a dream. It was a whisper that wasn't a star. Luna opened one eye. Her ear twitched. There it was again. It was coming from the old tree nearby, the one with silver leaves that always shimmered at night. Luna, came the voice, barely more than a breath. Luna, little listener, the kingdom is calling. The kingdom? Luna sat up slowly, her tail uncurled like a ribbon. You've heard our lullabies, the tree continued. But now it's time to follow them. Before Luna could ask what that meant, a single leaf from the tree drifted down, not falling, but floating, glowing gently like a nightlight. As soon as it touched her nose, Luna felt her paws grow warm. Not hot, just cozy. The forest blurred. The stars shimmered brighter. And then, softly asleep, Luna was somewhere else. When Luna opened her eyes again, she was standing on a bridge. But not a bridge made of stone, or wood, or rope. This bridge was made entirely of yawns. Each step she took stretched beneath her paws like a sigh. The rails were woven from sleepiness. Tiny dream birds perched on the edges, fluttering only when Luna blinked too loudly. The sky above was not black, it was deep blue-violet, lit by floating lamps made of drowsy fireflies. Where was she? Before she could wonder, a tiny mouse in a velvet nightcap waddled up beside her. You must be the fox, he squeaked, yawning mid-sentence. The listener. We've been waiting. Luna tilted her head. Where am I? The Kingdom of Night Whispers, of course, the mouse said, pulling out a scroll. You've been invited to walk the path of sleep. Not just for you, but for all the dreamers. And with that, the mouse blew gently into the air, and the bridge sighed beneath them, beginning to move forward. Luna followed. They arrived at a river that didn't rush, didn't babble, didn't splash. It simply hummed. The river of sleep. It stretched into the distance like a ribbon of moonlight, its surface smooth as silk. Luna dipped her paw in. A soft melody curled around her toes. She closed her eyes and felt the song wrap around her chest like a blanket. Boats floated by, each one shaped like a curled-up kitten or a half-closed flower. They carried sleepers, not bodies, but dreams themselves. Dreams of children, dreams of animals, dreams that hadn't been dreamed yet. Where do they go? Luna whispered. To the hearts that need them most, said the river. And as she listened, the music slowed and softened, like the hush of a lullaby. As Luna padded softly down the path of velvet moss beside the river of sleep, the twilight air began to shimmer with little silver rings, not bells, but yawns. They floated lazily in the air like sleepy bubbles. One drifted close and gave a gentle huh, almost contagious. Luna yawned back. "Oh dear, I hope that wasn't yours," came a voice from above. Luna looked up. There, perched on a twisted branch of a star-blossom tree, sat a big, round owl wearing crescent moon glasses and a sleepy-looking scarf with tiny clocks stitched along the edges. He blinked slowly. "You must be Luna, the listener. We've heard of you. Are you collecting yawns?" she asked. "Indeed," said the owl, fluttering down beside her. "I'm Orlo, yawn archivist of the Night Whisperers. I collect the first yawn of every dreamer and store them safely in the Yanarium." "The Yanarium?" "Yes, it's quite a cozy place. You should see the plush shelves." He opened a little case on his back, filled with warm, glowing orbs. Each one pulsed gently, like a sigh being remembered. "This one," he said, holding one carefully, "came from a kitten in Cloudtown. And this big one, a double yawn from a sleepy dragonling. Very rare." Luna tilted her head. "But why yawns?" "Because yawns are the doorway," said Orlo wisely. "Every dream begins with a yawn. A true one, not a bored one." He leaned closer and hooted softly. "Would you like to give yours?" Luna hesitated. Then she opened her mouth and let out a long, slow, honest yawn. The owl gently caught it in a velvet pouch and placed it beside the others. "Well done," he said. "Your dream has now officially begun." Orlo pointed her to the lantern trail, a winding path made entirely of tiny glowing lanterns that hovered just above the ground. Each lantern held a sleepy memory. As Luna walked, each one whispered softly, "I remember the blanket that smelled like Mom. I remember the sound of rain when I was warm inside. I remember when I pretended to be a cloud." Luna listened to every single one. She realized something. Every lantern was someone's safe thought, held close before sleep. She whispered one of her own. "I remember the sound the moss makes when I lie on it." A lantern lit up next to her, bright and golden. She smiled and kept walking. Further along the trail, the stars above began to swirl gently, not in a dizzy way, but like a slow spoon in warm cocoa. And from a tiny hill rose a giant snail, pulling a glowing needle with a silver thread that reached all the way into the stars. "Excuse me," Luna called softly. The snail, whose shell was shaped like a spiral galaxy, turned its head ever so slowly. "I'm Stitch," it said in a voice like a slow cello. "What are you sewing?" she asked. "The sky," Stitch replied. "I fix the little rips in the night where worries try to sneak through." He showed her a tiny tear where a sharp thought had poked. "What if I forget how to dream?" Stitch sewed it shut with a thread made of kind words. "There," he said, smoothing it gently. "Now only peace can get in." Luna watched in awe as the sky became whole again. "Will you stitch mine if I ever worry?" she asked. "I already have," said Stitch. "Many times." By now, Luna felt calm, almost weightless. But as she reached a clearing, she saw something that made her paws freeze in wonder. A great bear, as big as a mountain, was walking slowly across the clouds, and on its back was the moon itself. He walked gently, placing each paw down as if afraid to wake the stars. "Hello," Luna called out softly. The bear stopped, turned his head slowly. "Hello, small one," he rumbled, his voice like thunder muffled by a pillow. "Why are you carrying the moon?" she asked. "It gets tired too," he said, "and sometimes it needs someone to carry its light for a while." Luna's ears lowered gently. "That's very kind of you. Dreams are heavy sometimes," said the bear. "Even the brightest ones. That's why we carry them together." He knelt and let her touch the moon. It was warm, like cheeks after a nap. Then, without a word, the bear nodded and walked on into the distance of dreams. Soon, Luna's steps slowed. The air smelled like cinnamon and cool wind. She found herself in a glade full of trees shaped like open books. Leaves drifted down like feathers, each one curling as it fell. She lay down on a pile of them. They made a soft, whispering sound. And then, the leaves shifted. They told stories. One leaf said, "Once upon a nap." Another said, "There was a dream made of feathers and hugs." Another simply whispered, "Shoo." Luna sighed. She closed her eyes. For a moment, she thought about home, about moss and stars and safe paws. But she didn't miss it, because here was just as peaceful, just as soft, and full of new whispers. And as the final chapter of the first part closes, Luna found herself standing beneath the lullaby tree, the tallest in the kingdom. Its branches stretched high into the clouds, and its roots reached into the heartbeats of every sleepy soul. And there, hanging from its branches, were songs, not words, not notes, but feelings shaped into lullabies. Luna leaned against the trunk. A lullaby floated down to her and wrapped around her tail. And then another, and another. She didn't need to listen. She only needed to feel. And slowly, gently, her eyes began to close. When Luna awoke beneath the lullaby tree, there was a small, glowing object nestled beside her paw. It was a compass, but instead of pointing north, its needle spun slowly, pausing only when Luna thought of home. She whispered, "My mossy rock, the star above the fir tree, the scent of evening wind." The compass needle steadied and began to glow softly. She held it close. Sometimes came a voice from the tree. "We carry a little piece of home with us, even when we're far away." Luna smiled sleepily. She didn't feel far away anymore. Luna padded through a meadow where the grass grew tall and swayed with dreams. In the center stood a childlike figure with a coat full of pockets, too many to count. "Who are you?" Luna asked softly. "I'm Wisp," said the figure, "keeper of forgotten wishes." From one pocket, Wisp pulled a tiny, folded paper. This one wished to fly with fireflies. Another, this one wished to talk to the moon. Another, this one wished for one more goodnight kiss. Luna's heart ached with something warm. Do they ever come true? Wisp nodded. When they're remembered. So Luna closed her eyes and remembered one of her own. "I wish for someone to listen to the stars with me." The wind stirred. One pocket lit up, and Wisp smiled. Further still, in a clearing filled with gentle fog, stood a clock tower made of moonstone and whisperwood. Inside, a sleepy raccoon in a robe pushed levers and pressed soft buttons. "Excuse me," Luna whispered. "Why does your clock tick backward?" The raccoon smiled. "Because in dreams, we don't run out of time. We go deeper into it." He pointed to a golden gear turning in reverse. "Here, you don't get older. You get cozier." Luna giggled. "I like that." The raccoon gave her a pillow. "You may rest a while. Time will wait." Luna awoke to the sound of soft laughter and glowing colors in the sky. All around her, creatures from the kingdom were releasing glowing thoughts into the air, like floating lanterns made of memory. "This one is from when I held my cub for the first time," whispered a mother bear. "This one is when I found a dream I didn't know I had," said a shy deer. Luna was handed her own little orb. She thought, and the light inside began to swirl. She let it go. It floated upward and danced with the others, joining a constellation made not of stars, but of stories. At the edge of a gentle hill, a mole with tiny glasses and a patchwork vest sat by a loom the size of a tree trunk. Thread by thread, he wove blankets from dream fibers, moonlight, stardust, giggles, hums, even snores. "These blankets don't cover your body," he explained. "They cover your worries." He handed Luna a small square. "Yours is woven from listening, gentleness, and the sound of paws on moss." She wrapped it around her heart. Warmth, safety, and yawn. Luna next wandered into an orchard filled with trees that grew hammocks. Yes, branches cradled soft nests of woven dreams, and in each lay a napping animal. Hedgehogs snoring gently, puppies twitching mid-dream, owls gently sighing. An old turtle greeted her. "Welcome to the Nap Orchard," he said slowly. "No alarms here, just endless drifting." Luna felt her paws go soft. She climbed into a nest woven from sleep smoke and grass whispers. She didn't even notice herself dozing. Only when a cloud floated down and kissed her nose did she open her eyes again. Refreshed, dream deep. As night grew deeper in the kingdom, Luna entered a glade lit by thousands of fireflies, each one blinking in a pattern, messages in light. A tiny fairy fox fluttered by. "They're sending lullabies," she said, but not out loud. They blinked them. Luna watched carefully. Blink, blink, pause, blink. Blink, 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 pause. She read them slowly, like blinking hugs. "You're safe. You are loved. It's okay to rest now." She lay in the grass, blinking back. The fireflies danced in reply. Luna eventually found herself at a small campfire surrounded by tents stitched from shadows and stars. Inside each tent, creatures snuggled under story quilts. An old fox, with fur like silver snow, nodded at her. "Found your way here, did you?" Luna curled next to her. The fire crackled, but gently. It didn't burn. It purred. Someone told a bedtime riddle. Another hummed a lullaby without words. And everyone slowly stopped moving. Only the breathing stayed. As the stars above began to sway like lullabies, Luna entered a tunnel carved from sleeping clouds. It narrowed gently, like the feeling of sleep closing in. The walls whispered with good nights, in every language, in every voice, from mothers and fathers, siblings and grandparents, stuffed bears and lullaby books. Each word layered onto her fur, a feather at a time, until Luna walked slower, and slower, and slower, and came to the end. A small nest waited, made just for her. She curled inside. The moss smelled like memory. The stars above blinked slowly. A quiet hum, familiar, filled the air. And then she realized she had never truly left. The kingdom of night whispers? It had always been here, in her, around her, waiting for night, waiting for stillness, waiting for a listener. And she had listened. The path gently curved through a valley wrapped in mist and soft echoes. In the distance, Luna saw a low hill that breathed, rising and falling slowly. As she approached, she realized it wasn't a hill at all. It was a great den, and inside it slept a family of dreaming bears. The air smelled like warm milk and pine needles. She peeked in and saw cubs curled in nests of clouds, murmuring in their sleep. A large mother bear stirred slightly and opened one eye. "You may enter," she whispered, "if your heart is slow." Luna padded softly between them. The den felt like a heartbeat. Each bear snored in rhythm, a lullaby made of fur and dreams. One cub, barely bigger than a pawful of moss, opened its eyes and blinked at her. "Do you live here?" Luna asked. The cub yawned and nodded. "This is the first nap," he whispered. "The nap we all come from." And then he fell back asleep with a gentle smile. Luna lay beside them. She didn't mean to close her eyes, but she did. When she awoke, Luna wandered into a quiet field filled with giant pillows, each one a different color, softness, and shape. In the middle sat a small badger, splattered with color, painting on a canvas that hovered in midair. "What are you painting?" Luna asked. The badger turned and smiled. "I paint the pictures that form when sleepy heads lie on pillows." He turned the canvas. It showed soft shapes, clouds shaped like grandparents, stars with familiar voices, cozy corners that felt like bedtime hugs. "Do you want me to paint yours?" he asked. Luna nodded. He dipped his brush into a little pot labeled Snuggles. Another marked Paw Warmth. Another, Blanket Thoughts. Then, slowly, gently, he painted Luna's dreams into the sky. And there it stayed, her private comfort, floating high. The smell of honey, cinnamon, and warm oats drifted toward her as Luna entered a cozy kitchen made entirely of teapots and wood. Inside, a porcupine with a chef's hat twice his size was stirring a pot that sang lullabies. "Welcome to my kitchen," he squeaked. "Here we make sleepy snacks. Nothing spicy, nothing noisy. Just soothing nibbles for nighttime bellies." He handed Luna a tiny cookie shaped like a crescent moon. She took one bite and felt her thoughts grow slower. Another cookie, shaped like a hug. Another, a purring kitten. "Do you ever run out of ingredients?" she asked. He laughed. "Never. Sleepy hearts refill the jars just by being near." Tucked behind the kitchen was a small room filled with old suitcases. A soft-spoken deer tended them, carefully opening and closing each. "What's in the bags?" Luna asked. She opened one and saw a forgotten fear of the dark, a memory of a lost toy, a worry about being too small. "These," the deer whispered, "are little sorrows. We pack them gently so they don't get too loud." Luna nodded slowly. "Do we carry them forever?" The deer smiled. "No, but we remember them kindly. They helped us become soft." Luna closed the suitcase, and the room became a little brighter. The next part of her journey took Luna to a lake that wasn't water. It was clouds so thick and soft they held her weight. A tiny canoe waited at the shore. As she stepped in, it floated gently forward, gliding over memories that wanted to be rocked to sleep. Below, she saw sleepy scenes shimmer in the cloud lake. A rabbit nestled in a scarf, a squirrel dreaming of flying, a baby fox listening to raindrops. Each dream cast a ripple in the lake. Each ripple sang a note. Luna leaned over and whispered, "May all dreams be soft tonight." The clouds shimmered in reply. She reached a hill where naps were planted like seeds. Tiny animals with soft hats tended them, watering them with lullabies. "What grows here?" Luna asked. "Naps," said a hedgehog, start as tiny yawns. "We water them, warm them, let them root." Some naps bloomed into full snoozes, others into mini slumbers. She helped plant a tiny seed labeled Safe Feeling. By the time she turned away, it had grown into a gentle breeze and a soft hum. It followed her the rest of the night. In the next meadow sat a large book, open on a stump. It glowed faintly and turned its own pages. Each page read, and then something peaceful happened. Luna sat beside it and whispered, "I want my story to go on forever." The book paused, listened, and added a line. So she kept walking, gently, softly, slowly, deeper into the quiet. She smiled and kept walking. Soon, she reached the top of a hill where beds floated in a gentle procession through the sky. Each one carried someone already drifting. A song played in the air, no words, just softness. "Do I get a bed?" Luna asked. A balloon bear pointed to a cloud drifting toward her. She climbed in. It lifted her slowly, softly, without effort. The stars whispered. The wind tucked her in. And she drifted, but not to the end, only deeper. Above the clouds floated a great dome filled with stars. Real stars, close enough to touch. At the center sat an old owl with feathers made of pages. He turned a book as big as the moon. "Is that the last story?" Luna asked. The owl looked at her gently. "No, it's the next one." She peered at the glowing letters, forming even as she watched. It began. A little fox listened to the world, and the world listened back. The owl smiled. When you sleep, we write. When you dream, we remember. Luna lay beside him, and for a long while, there were no words, only dreams. Luna drifted gently down from the floating bed, carried by a breeze that smelled like marshmallows and lavender. She landed on a smooth, silver slope, a nest made of moonlight. Tiny stars nestled beside her like soft kittens. One blinked sleepily and purred. This is where the moon naps when it's tired. Luna snuggled between two glowing tufts. Why does the moon nap? She asked. To remember all the dreams it watched. The stars hummed a lullaby only dreams could hear. And the moon, above them all, yawned, casting a soft shimmer across the sky. When Luna awoke, she found herself on a winding path made of velvet moss. It looped softly, not in circles, but in memories. As she walked, she saw scenes from earlier in her journey. The whispering fireflies, the cloud lake, the book with no ending. Except now, they all glowed with a new light. They were softer, like they'd been gently remembered instead of forgotten. An old snail passed her and whispered, "Sometimes, dreams take you forward by going gently back." Luna followed. There was no hurry. She came to a meadow where trees grew socks instead of leaves. They fluttered like flags, striped ones, starry ones, fuzzy ones that looked like sleeping tigers. A raccoon climbed down holding a pair. "These are comfort socks," he explained. "They hold forgotten coziness." He handed her a tiny blue pair. Luna slipped them on her paws. She didn't need to run or leap. Just walk. Softly. The wind wrapped around her ankles like a hug. Further on, nestled high in a tree with spiral branches, sat a house made entirely of teapots and cushions. Inside was a tiny mouse, humming softly and pouring dream tea. "Welcome, traveler," she whispered. "Would you like a cup of hush?" Luna nodded. The tea smelled like bedtime books and felt like falling asleep mid-giggle. "Each cup has a memory," said the mouse. "A soft one, nothing loud." Luna sipped and remembered the warmth of her mother's nose against hers. Tears came, but they were gentle, happy tears. The mouse patted her paw. "It's safe to miss things here." Beyond the treehouse was a snowy meadow. But the snow didn't crunch, it sang. Each flake whispered tiny lullabies. Each drift held sighs from a million sleepy hearts. A sled waited. Luna climbed in, and the snow gently moved it forward, not down a hill, but across a memory of one. She saw her first snowflake, her first warm blanket, the first time she heard, "I love you." The snow drifted around her like quiet laughter. At the base of a sleepy tree were koalas with little jars, catching something invisible. "What are you collecting?" Luna asked. "Yawns," said one, stretching. "They're the softest things in the world." She watched as they gently caught yawns from the wind and sealed them with a cork. "Each yawn makes a baby feel safe somewhere," they said. "And sometimes grown-ups, too." One koala offered her a jar. Inside, a swirl of glowing mist pulsed gently. "From someone who missed you today," it whispered. Luna hugged it to her chest. In the hollow of a soft tree trunk was an old radio, softly playing voices, not music. Luna pressed her ear to it. She heard a mother reading to her child, a father humming a lullaby, a grandmother softly saying, "You're safe now." "Whose voices are these?" she asked. A rabbit adjusted the dial. "They're dreams, being spoken aloud somewhere far away. We catch them here and keep them safe." Luna smiled and added her voice. "Good night, everyone. Sleep well." The radio glowed. At the next hilltop, children-shaped clouds flew kites made of kindness. Each kite tugged gently at the sky, leaving trails of, "Thank you. I'm proud of you. I missed you." Luna was handed her own kite. She thought of someone who once gave her a warm stone when she was scared. She whispered, "Thank you." The kite flew high and left a golden streak behind it, still glowing even after it vanished. Across the sea of dreams floated a giant, gentle whale, glowing softly like the moon on water. Luna stepped onto its back, where soft moss had grown, a moving garden in the sky. "Where are we going?" she asked. The whale blinked slowly. "To return forgotten wishes." All around them, tiny glowing bubbles rose from the sea, wishes whispered by sleepy children long ago. One said, "I want to hug my teddy forever." Another, "I hope the stars know my name." The whale sang, and each bubble burst gently into the sky, becoming stars. "Every kind wish lights the world," it said. Luna spotted an old wooden mailbox standing alone in a quiet field. It had a tiny brass sign, "Dream letters only." Inside were envelopes tied with string, smelling of vanilla and memory. She opened one. "Dear Star, thank you for twinkling just for me. Love, Teddy, age 4. Another. "To the wind. You sound like my mom's voice when I'm falling asleep. Please never stop." Luna smiled and wrote her own letter. "Dear whoever keeps the world gentle. Thank you." She posted it, and a warm breeze kissed her cheek. Deeper in the dreamland, Luna came upon a lake of warm bubbles, steaming with lavender and moonflowers. Tiny otters slid down soap bubble slides, giggling without sound. A sleepy cat waved her over and said, "This lake washes away the noisy day." Luna stepped in. The water wasn't wet, just warm. Each bubble that popped released a tiny memory that no longer needed to be held. A stubbed toe, a small worry about bedtime, a missed nap. They vanished in little pops of peace. Luna felt lighter, like a leaf on air. In a forest clearing stood a carousel, but instead of horses, it had floating leaves, dreamy clouds, snoring hedgehogs, storybooks with fluttering pages. Luna chose a cloud seat. The carousel moved slowly, with music made of sighs and twinkles. Each rotation took her deeper into memory, but in a warm, safe way. She remembered. A blanket too big but cozy. A nightlight shaped like a mushroom. A song her grandma used to hum. The carousel whispered, "You're always safe where love remembers you." On a hill that breathed like a sleepy giant, Luna found a picnic blanket already laid out. There sat a sleepy fox in a sweater, a turtle wrapped in a scarf, a purring kitten made of moonlight. They offered her sandwiches filled with giggle jam and calm cheese. The juice tasted like story time. They didn't speak much, just smiled and leaned against each other. The wind brought a lullaby. No one knew who sang it, but they all felt their eyes growing heavier. In a quiet glade stood a mirror, fogged with sleep. When Luna looked in, she didn't see her face, but all the kind things she had done. Letting a squirrel nap on her tail, saying thank you to the stars, leaving a dream gift behind. The mirror glowed and whispered, "Even when you don't see it, kindness remembers." Luna smiled and touched the mirror. It stayed warm, even after she walked away. A raccoon was sewing beside a firefly lamp. Each patch of his giant quilt held a dream. One for a rainy nap under a leaf. One for a birthday sleepover. One for the first time someone said, "I'll always be here." He let Luna snuggle under it. As she did, she saw every dream play above her, like little movies made of light. The raccoon whispered, "Sleep isn't the end of the day. It's the beginning of remembering." On a wooden archway hung a tiny silver bell. Beneath it, a sign read, "Ring only when your heart is slow." Luna stood still, breathing gently. She felt the warmth of the day behind her and the softness of the dreams ahead. She reached out and touched the bell. It made no sound, but the stars above shivered, and a single feather floated down. She caught it. It whispered, "Time to float." Luna followed a cobblestone path into a long hallway lit by floating candles. The walls were lined with soft velvet and covered in little notes. Each one whispered as she passed, "You are braver than you remember. Someone smiled because of you today. You are made of warm moments." She stopped to listen. Each whisper was a memory someone else had about her. Loving ones, gentle ones, moments she didn't even know had mattered. She smiled and whispered back, "Thank you." The hallway bowed, as if it heard. At the end of the hallway was a grove of feather-light trees where tiny birds slept, dozens of them, their wings wrapped like tiny blankets. "These," said an owl with glasses, "are the birds who dream when you are too tired. They hold your dreams for you, like tiny pillows in the sky." One little bird, a fluff ball of navy blue, fluttered to Luna's paw and chirped, "You're almost ready to float." Then it snuggled under her ear and sighed. And Luna felt like she didn't have to think anymore, just feel. Luna found herself in a vast meadow, where the sky was soft purple and the grass shimmered. Little floating sparks hovered, and with each one that touched her, a new dream was born. A rainbow that giggled, a music box shaped like the moon, a hug from someone who missed her. A fairy made of sleep dust landed on her shoulder. "This is where the dreams you don't know you need come from," she said. "They wait quietly until you're ready." Luna lay down, and for a while, nothing happened, just warmth, just peace. Beneath an old sycamore stood a clock, but its hands didn't move unless it was bedtime somewhere. It ticked once, then again. Each tick sent out a ripple of silver light. "Each tick is someone letting go of the day," whispered the tree. Luna sat beneath it and watched it tick gently for a sleepy baby in another forest, a yawning owl in a city park, a tired child cuddling a teddy. Tick, another sigh somewhere far away. Tick, another little one dreaming safely. Luna closed her eyes. Luna picked up a pale blue shell resting on a log. When she held it to her ear, she heard a lullaby, not with words, but feelings. The weight of a cozy blanket, the sound of breathing beside you, the hum of stars as they shine just for you. She held it to her chest, and it glowed. "Take it with you," said a soft voice. "For every night you forget how loved you are." She placed the shell gently in her satchel. She wouldn't forget. In a soft library filled with clouds for shelves, Luna found a book. Its title read, "Tonight." Inside, she saw the story of everything that had happened in her dream, but also little things she hadn't noticed. A squirrel that waved, a breeze that kissed her cheek, a cloud that smiled just before she looked. Each page turned itself, and as it neared the end, she saw a sentence waiting. "The dream is almost ready to tuck you in." She hugged the book to her chest and kept walking. As she walked, Luna noticed the path had turned soft, like velvet moss and sleepy giggles. It hummed as she stepped, like 1,000 tiny voices saying, "Good night, sweet dreams. You are safe." Fireflies floated beside her, gently dimming with each step. A bunny offered her a warm leaf blanket. A fox waved, wrapped in stardust. All around, her dream friends whispered, "We'll see you again tomorrow." And the sky began to darken, not scary dark, but cozy dark, like under a big soft bed. At the final hilltop, Luna found a bed waiting, made of feathers, stitched clouds, and twinkling lullabies. It looked just like the one she'd left behind, but warmer. She climbed in. A bear tucked her in with a smile. The owl fluffed her pillow. The little dream bird snuggled beside her. "Was it all a dream?" she asked. The bear whispered, "It was all real, just real in the quiet way." Luna closed her eyes, and slowly, surely, she drifted. And you, little listener, are floating with her now, wrapped in the same feathers, safe in the same stars. The world is quiet. The day is done. Your heart is warm, and the dreams are ready. Sleep deeply. You are so very loved. Luna now walked a soft path made of glowing pebbles, each one whispering a tiny good night as she stepped. "Good night, little paws." Sleep tight, heart full of stars. Dream slow, little traveler. The pebbles didn't crunch or clink, they hummed. It felt like walking on a melody. With every step, her eyes grew heavier, but in the nicest way. At the end of the path, a squirrel in pajamas waved gently. "You're doing beautifully," he said. "Almost time." A lake appeared, still as glass, with a swan-shaped boat drifting at the dock. The swan bowed. "Climb aboard, dreamling." Luna stepped in, and the boat began to glide across the mirror-like water. The stars above twinkled, then gently fell one by one into the lake, making soft ripples that sang lullabies. As the boat floated, the swan told her, "Some dreams take you far, but the best ones bring you back. Back to calm, back to warm, back to you." Luna curled up and listened. The boat rocked gently, the water shimmered, and the night held her close. On the other shore, Luna stepped into a field where every breeze felt like a hug. All around were glowing shapes, soft and slow, each one a memory of being held. A sleepy morning in someone's arms. A hug after a happy surprise. A bedtime cuddle when the world felt too big. She ran her paw through the air, and it held her back like a warm embrace. She didn't speak. The moment didn't need it. It was enough just to be there. In a cozy grove, she found a blanket folded neatly, made entirely of night sky. It shimmered with distant galaxies and familiar stars. Luna picked it up, and it wrapped itself around her like it knew exactly where she needed softness. The moon leaned down, glowing warm. "You've gone so far tonight," it said. "Now it's time to let the dreams carry you." She nodded, and the stars above blinked slowly, as if winking her to sleep. In the distance, a band approached, but not loud. It was a sleepy parade, led by yawning raccoons and slow-dancing owls. They played music that felt like rocking chairs and soft humming. Each instrument sounded like a sigh from a full heart, a stretch beneath a warm blanket, the silence before a kiss on the forehead. They marched past Luna, one by one, waving. And as they did, she felt her body swaying gently with their rhythm. A lullaby, walking. She entered a soft cave, lit only by the glow of sleeping eyes. Inside were dozens of animals curled together in piles. Bears wrapped around bunnies, hedgehogs under fox tails, tiny birds nestled between lion paws. Luna was guided to a soft nest of moss and fur. She lay down, and a gentle arm, whose it was, she didn't know, pulled her in. They didn't speak. They just breathed. And with every breath, Luna felt her own grow slower, softer. A bee offered her a jar labeled, "For when you need to remember how safe you are." Inside were little glowing beads, moments of peace. She opened the jar, and they floated around her. Her first nap on her mama's lap. The quiet after a thunderstorm. A soft song with no words. They danced in the air like fireflies, then settled gently on her fur. She whispered, "Thank you," and closed the lid. It stayed warm in her paw. As the night deepened, Luna found a small wooden house with a light in the window. It looked just like home. She stepped inside. Everything was familiar. A soft chair by a reading lamp. A blanket that still smelled like story time. A shelf full of dreams already lived. There, on the bed, was her favorite pillow. And beside it, the little dream bird, already snoring. A note on the bed read, "Welcome home, little traveler. You made it." She climbed in. The room grew dim. Not dark, just dim enough to hold her gently. A soft hum filled the space. Not music, not words, just warmth. Like a hug from everything kind. Like a promise that nothing scary would come tonight. Like the whole world whispering, "You are safe. You are loved. You can sleep now." And Luna, wrapped in that quiet, finally let go. She didn't fall asleep. She floated into it, like a leaf on a still pond. Dreaming softly, completely, endlessly. And now, dear listener, you too are drifting. The story doesn't end. It just continues in your dreams. Luna is still out there. So are the birds and the blankets, the jars and the clouds. They're waiting every night you close your eyes. And until then, know this. You are wrapped in a world of calm. You are held by kindness. And the stars remember your name. Sleep well. Good night. Luna wandered into a glade where a glowing snail was slowly moving across a leaf. On its shell were tiny holes, like a flute. As it moved, soft lullabies drifted from its spiral shell. Each lullaby, said the snail, is from someone wishing you sweet dreams. Luna paused to listen. One song smelled like warm cocoa. Another one reminded her of her favorite rainy day nap. And the last felt like being rocked in loving arms. She followed the snail a while, until she couldn't tell where the music ended and her thoughts began to fade. At the edge of the grove stood an ancient tree with bark so soft it felt like suede. The tree opened its branches. You can rest here. I will listen to the world for you. Luna curled up beneath the roots. As she closed her eyes, the tree leaned over and whispered, "You don't have to stay awake to be safe. You don't have to worry to be loved." The tree hummed as it watched over the night, and Luna felt like the whole world was still, just for her. That night, the moon bent a little closer than usual. Its light wasn't bright, just enough to kiss her cheeks with silver warmth. The moon spoke in a language only dreamers could hear. I watch over all who sleep. I collect their sighs and turn them into stars. It placed one shining dot on her nose, a tiny promise, and said, "This one is yours, to light the way back always." She nodded sleepily and curled tighter into her blanket. A crane flew down carrying a woven basket full of glowing feathers. "This is your dream nest," she said. "You've earned it." Luna climbed in, surrounded by feathers that sang when touched. A song for courage. A song for softness. A song for letting go. The crane gently rocked the nest with her beak. The stars above shimmered in time with the motion. Luna's thoughts became soft fog. Her breath slowed, and the air grew sweeter with every sigh. Luna now floated down a river with golden water. It wasn't cold or wet, it felt like memories. Each ripple whispered something kind someone once did for her. A shared snack on a school day. A warm coat zipped up with gentle hands. "You did great today," whispered at bedtime. She drifted slowly, eyes half open, as her heart filled with warmth she had forgotten but never truly lost. At the end of the river, a warm mist lifted her out, and she felt so very loved. She walked a new path now, softer than before. It was lined with tiny glowing paw prints, her own, from earlier in the story. They glowed with all the magic she'd gathered. The laugh of a jellyfish, the hug of a moss bear, the yawn of the sleepy owl. The prints lit up as she stepped in them again, like saying, "You've already been brave. You've already done enough. Now rest." She didn't even notice her head nodding lower. Her steps were slower. The air was stiller. The dream was ready. She came upon a quiet carousel, not loud or bright, but moonlit and slow. Instead of horses, it had dream creatures. A drifting cloud, a gentle turtle, a plush rabbit with wings. Luna chose the turtle. The ride began, and with each turn, the world spun quieter. The stars circled above. The music melted into heartbeats. Her thoughts slowed to a hush, and the turtle whispered, "Sleep is not the end of adventure. It's the doorway." The softest rain began to fall, each drop a bell chime, light as whispers. But nothing got wet. The drops just tickled the air and dissolved. "This is dream rain," said a frog in pajamas. "It waters the parts of your heart that grow in sleep." Luna looked up and let the rain touch her nose. And in that moment, she felt more peaceful, more whole, more ready, not to think, not to do, just to rest. She was now on the last trail. It looked like her own forest, only quieter. The trees waved slowly. The wind whispered lullabies in her own voice. And ahead, she could see the place where the dream began, waiting like a bed left warm. She didn't need to rush. Each step let go of a thought. Each breath let go of a moment. Each blink came slower. Just before the end, her friends gathered one last time. The turtle with slow eyes, the owl with bedtime glasses, the fox that first waved. They didn't speak. They just circled around her and gave one soft, perfect hug. Not too tight, not too quick, just long enough. Then one by one, they vanished into stars, and she laid down beneath their glow. And sleep took her, not like falling, but like floating. Now it's your turn. You've traveled too. You've walked the glowing paths. You've listened to the gentle songs. You've felt the hush settle. Now there is nothing more to do. Just breathe. Just rest. Let go. And as you drift, know this. You are not alone. You are wrapped in warmth. You are so very safe. Good night, dreamer. Sleep sweetly. Sleepy star, sleepy sky. Close your little glowing eye. Drift with dreams on silver seas. Carried soft by moonlit breeze. Nestled warm in night, so deep. All the world begins to sleep. Teddy yawns and Bunny sighs. Clouds wear pajamas in the skies. No more worries, no more sound. Just your heartbeat all around. One more blink, and you will see. A dream is waiting quietly. Sleepy toes, sleepy head. Time to float to cozy bed. Wrapped in hugs you cannot see. Held by stars and melody. Sleepy star, sleepy sky. Whisper now your last goodbye. Morning waits, but not too soon. Sleep till sunlight paints the moon.